too many things open. Quit that.
It's tight.
We're in the building. Media Markus, What's the Line podcast, presented by Annie Up Consulting. We're here. We're back. Week 4, NFL. Hey, Soundman, please let me know if my Wi-Fi is correct this week. Last week was a headache. Tried some different things. Found an extender. Hasn't gotten here yet, but we'll see how it goes.
So
But
far,
yes,
so good,
all
man.
right. I did a little reset. Did a little reset of the joint. You know what I mean? Clear it out. We're here at Media Markus in the building, September 24th, 2025. This portion of the Media Markus stream is What's the Line podcast, season 7. Before we get into that, though, just kind of talk some shop. We're gonna do this here, talk sports lines, NFL, and some college football as well. I'm gonna take a break, catch up on the challenge, which comes on at 8 o'clock p.m., and Big Brother, which comes on about 9 or 10. And I'll be back online to talk those and what's happening in media, news, sports, and entertainment. But we're here, Media Markus, What's the Line podcast, and let's start it off, gentlemen. Blow my mic. And we're back. Annie Up Consulting presents What's the Line podcast. I'm your host, Media Markus. We're in the building running the 3-man weave today. We're going to talk some NFL lines, beat the spread. That is what we're here for, to beat the Bucks. Running with the 3-man weave with my guy, Rome. How you feeling? The People's Champ back again. What's happening?
Ready to go. First appearance this year. But, we started the year off. Okay. All right. Well, okay. Memory's failing me already. But we're ready to go, man. It's week 4 pro football, week 5 college football. We've been pretty sharp thus far. So looking to keep that rolling.
Yes, looking to keep that rolling. We're just trying to win big, man. Rome hit something very nice over the weekend, but we're not going to dwell on last weekend.
Next game.
Keep it moving. Yeah, next game. You know the motto. Next game, next prop. Speaking of my guy, Soundman, how you doing, brother? Speaking of next game, how you feeling, my guy, Soundman? After a good week.
No need to dwell. Week 1 was great for me. Week 2 stank. Week 3 we were back on it. Let's see if we can correct it and not have a bad, good, bad. Let's get another winning week here. But I'm good, man. Ready to go, as Roman said, man.
Yeah, can I just say, though, I just want to start this off by saying Brian Callahan is a very bad coach, man. I'm sorry.
Not good.
He's not good, man. All the stats against him, man, are just so bad. Every week, like, Rome was on the Colts this week, and I was going to bet the Colts. I did not. But, yeah, the Titans are so bad, and I just wanted to start the podcast off with that as we're here. What's the Line podcast? But yes, it is a lot of games on the slate today. No bye weeks just yet in the NFL. So let's get right into it, gentlemen. We got Thursday night football. Seahawks. Are these my Seahawks? I don't know if they're my Seahawks, but Seahawks 5-3. Seahawks laying 1 point on the road versus the divisional foe Cardinals. Total of 43. This line, look ahead line, was Cardinals minus 2.5, and that is a kind of a pattern this week in the NFL. And we'll get more into that. But the Seahawks laying 1 point on the road in Arizona. Total of 43. Seahawks 5-3-1 against the spread as a road team under head coach Mike McDonald. Cardinals are 29-25-1 against the spread after a loss since drafting Kyler Murray. They're also 15-11 against the spread as a home dog. During that span, Rome, what are you thinking of this game, Thursday night football, and any feels? Okay, Rome went away, but now he's back. Rome, talk to me. Thursday night football, any feels on this game?
Yeah, so, this year I've just been really intentional about, not necessarily giving too much, merit to the line movements of cash splits that you see earlier in the day. 97% of the cash in these games usually come in the day of. So, I'll just speak kind of from where we stand right now, 24 hours out. The Cardinals are very public. It seems like the whole world wants the Cardinals tomorrow, which is interesting. They are laying at 1.5, it seems, on the road here. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm never in favor of jumping on games in which the sides are majority, 70, 80% public cash is just pouring in on the team, laying on 1.5 on the road. Road favorites in division. We talk about NFC West dogs. Well, how about our NFC West home dog here in Seattle? What we saw from them in Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, I don't necessarily think was fluke. I think that was a pretty sharp team. I think, obviously Pittsburgh has some issues, but I think, Seattle is capable, and specifically at home. I think this is a good opportunity for them to kind of sneak away with one. And I think, a lot of people underestimate McDonald. I don't think they necessarily care for him and his head coach's style. I think think he's pretty conservative or, late in terms of his decision making specific to in-game adjustments. But I don't think, there's a real big issue up there in Seattle. I think they're pretty sharp. We always talk about these divisional travel games, divisional regional games, but that flight from Arizona to Seattle isn't necessarily the easiest flight in the world to take. So, just we talk about travel, we talk about in division, we talk about Thursday night, we talk about short rest, we talk about in division home teams on Thursday night, how they typically pan out pretty well. I know they're typically favorites, but here's a 1.5 point spread here that could easily close, within one. So, I tend to lean with the home team 24 hours out, but no official play for me here.
Yeah, same thing here. I lean with the Cardinals in this spot, but it's basically a pick'em game, division teams, and it's Thursday night football as well. You got to kind of catch the injury reports on this. So I think I'll be looking at props as far as running backs. James Conner obviously went out for the Arizona team last week, so I'll kind of figure out how to attack. Who's going to get those carries? Who's going to kind of touch the ball a little more? So stay in tune for the Discord for that. But Sound Man, what do you think about this Thursday night matchup?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. For me, I'm a once super mega fan of the NFC West. I haven't had eyes on, I wouldn't say all four of them this year. I really haven't had eyes on them. I'm kind of tired of the division. Still think it's a good division. Just a hard nosed division, shall I say? But I really haven't had my eyes on it. I looked up the Cardinals were somehow 2-0. I think I talked about it last week, but it wasn't a convincing 2-0. Lost to these Niners in division last week by a point. Here you are again. Another division game here. Now you're favored by a point, albeit against these extremely banged up 49ers. So when aren't they banged up and they just still somehow squeak away with a win? Well, excuse me, not the 49ers. These are the Cardinals. That shows how much I care. I really don't have much for it, man. I'll just leave it at that, man. I probably, as Rome said, I'm probably not going to play this as well. At least the side, of course, I'll probably have some props going on, but I have nothing for the game in itself.
Yeah, I'm not rushing to bet this either. Just kind of talking through it.
Absolutely. And talking through these games is kind of what gets me in good spots, gets us all in good spots. We sharpen up. I mean, I would have definitely thought the Packers, I don't know if I would have definitely thought they covered last week, but Soundman made me realize, like, oh, yeah, this is a trap game. Like, so little shit like that is why we're here. What's the Line podcast? We're going to talk through not all of these games, but mostly these games as we get a feel. And this game I definitely want to talk about with you guys. I sent out some stats on this one. The Vikings are laying 2.5 points. Is this in London? Salmon, do you know?
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Oh, London game. London, over the bridge. Over the pond. God bless. Vikings laying 2.5 points here versus the Steelers. Total of 41 points. This look-ahead line was Steelers actually -1. Now the Vikings are laying 2.5 points in London in this game. And some stats jumped out to me. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell, 10-4-2 against the spread versus the AFC in his career. And Mike Tomlin, 0-3 against the spread on neutral field games during his career. That's since 2007. Hasn't had many of these, but certain stats like that, I kind of like to try to take advantage of. But start with you, Soundman. What do you think about this game over in the London town? Nothing. Is it me? Is it you, Salman?
It might be
Bro,
me. I'm sorry.
bro,
Did you throw to me? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You did.
I'm like, what the hell? My bad. Maybe it's me. For me personally, yet again, I mean, even Rome said it in the chat earlier about these overseas games. I haven't even gotten there yet with this one personally. The stats that you talked about for Kevin O were very, very good. Very godly, like honestly. But me, Carson Wentz to me in 2025, I can't get behind that. But then it's also Aaron Rodgers in 2025. Old Aaron Rodgers, can I get behind that as well? I think I would like this more sadly if my Michigan man was still playing. I would probably lean heavily with the Steelers here, but he's not. So I think, I mean, I feel the one for the Steelers. The -1 as the look ahead more than I like the 2.5 here. I mean, the 0-3 for neutral sites for Tomlin kind of stinks as well. Is he going to go 0-4? He has a thing where he tends to be consistent in what he does. Obviously, a consistent 500 head coach. So is he going to be consistent here on this neutral site and go 0-4? Who knows? That sounds like what it should be. But yeah, I mean, I say all that to say, that's just my talk through. I don't know how I feel. I'm not trying to back Wentz, and I'm not backing Aaron Rodgers. I haven't liked the Steelers too much for the Vikings. So I mean, I've got nothing for this one as of now as well. So.
Yeah, I lean with the Vikings for now. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of time now between now and the actual game. But just thinking about that stat, I mean, 0-3.
It's
You
bad.
don't get in those situations many times, and they look out for coaches like or they look out for organizations like the Steelers and the Cowboys, and not having them have to go out in London every year. At least those earlier years, now everybody's going like it's just part of the NFL. When they were testing the waters, the Steelers weren't out there, the Cowboys weren't out there. You didn't see
49ers, those type of
49er.
teams.
Yeah, there you go. You didn't see them to Chiefs. You didn't see
Yeah.
them out there. So I just think like this is a situation that he's not been in much, and 0-3 doesn't usually like when somebody hasn't done something in a long time. Perfect example: Rams last week covered 7 straight on the road. And that's why I teased them, and you were like, "This is a public dog." Obviously, both were right, right? We were both right in that instance, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like so, if it's get up to 7-0 or 0-7, then it's like, all right, I'll stay away. But 0-3, I'm not afraid of. This guy's only been in this situation 3 times. He's got to cover. This Vikings team is defensively going to get at Aaron Rodgers. It's a quarterback who does not like to get hit. I've talked about it 2 weeks ago against the Seahawks. That's why I love the Seahawks that week. And I'm not all the way there yet on the Vikings, but I do have a lean there for sure. Ron, what do you think about this
Yeah. I'll just start off with I'm not betting this game. So anything I talk about here will not be specific to my handicap on this game. I'm not touching or betting any London or overseas 9 a.m. games this year. But uh, I think it's a interesting opportunity because you got a backup quarterback in Carson Wentz. You don't really know what you're getting from him week to week. And you could also say the same about Aaron Rodgers because he hasn't looked great or the same week to week. So, uh, I don't think there's much of anything to be attractive to bet on about this game. We're not selling advertisements or handicaps or picks specific to London games. So I would be more motivated to tell the average bettor, don't bet on this game. There's so many other games to bet on throughout the day. No need to go on the 1 p.m. down, a couple $100 or whatever the case may be, because you got kind of antsy and want to bet a 9 a.m. overseas London game. It's the Minnesota Vikings with Carson Wentz playing quarterback, and it's the Pittsburgh Steelers playing quarterback Aaron Rodgers, 38. So you get what you get there. You deserve whatever you deserve if you bet that game. Who am I to say? But I'm not betting that game.
Yeah, that one's definitely gonna be a tricky one. 9 a.m., 6:30 a.m. for those on the West Coast. So I know that's not easy for them.
Yeah.
Usually, I got mad. Listen, when I be up doing these streams after these games, almost 12 a.m. on the East, I'll be like, yo, it's love on the West because you know what I mean. That's just 9 o'clock. That's regular. But yeah, these London games, I'm definitely happy that I'm on the East Coast for those. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's definitely talk
6
about that.
a.m. is nuts.
Yeah, for sure. And then you got a handicap before that. Get ready. So it's just like,
Hey, you gotta place that bet before you go to sleep.
yeah. All
You
right.
out
I don't
there.
know where the sound man. If you hear me, if you're coming back, let me know. Get you back in here. But right now, me and Rome running a pick and roll at this point. What's next on there? Commanders Falcons. I don't want to talk
Hey,
about
I
that.
actually got some for that.
All right, what do you got?
Yeah, so that's one of the pro football games I am expecting to work this week. And so last week, my whole mindset, and I don't know how you want to snip this or whatever, how you want to cut this, but this will be the handicap on this game. So last week I really prioritized, uh, you know, handicapping pro football games that only had the starting quarterbacks that are supposed to be playing in the game. So what games did that rule out for me? That ruled out the Vikings last week, that Bengals game with the Vikings, and then also a couple other games. So I kind of knew what I would be going into and playing in that week. And so, obviously I was on the Colts again because I've been high on the Colts coming into the season. I think everybody's kind of aware of them now. I'm going to have to back off them for the first time all season. But I actually flipped and played the Broncos last week, who were 2-point dogs. All of this to say, these teams that I played last week and the week prior, they've all had their starting quarterback that they started the football season with off. And I think that's very important, specific to these teaser cards, parlay cards, or whatever it is. You're handicapping the sharpest market in all of sports. It's pro football. So when you're in this market and you're handicapping these quarterbacks, you need to know what you're getting. So you're better off handicapping a quarterback kind of what you're getting on a Sunday, week in, week out, as opposed to Carson Wentz or, as I mentioned, an Aaron Rodgers earlier, who's 38 years old and hasn't played consistent 2 weeks of football yet. So, I say that to say, I think this week I'm going to be able to kind of use that mindset against the Commanders here in this spot. So they come into this game with a backup quarterback. I come into this game, I being a Falcons backer, wanting to tease them up this week, probably, likely, to 7.5-point home dogs. And so I'll just tell you, as someone who lives in the city of Atlanta, they're already calling for Raheem Morris's job here. They're saying if they lose to a backup quarterback and Marcus Mariota, who once played here, leads, comes in Mercedes-Benz kind of leads a convincing win for the Commanders, it's going to be bad news for the Falcons. So it's absolutely going to be a game in which they get up for. It's year 2 of that regime. They absolutely should be up to speed and be able to score some points. I know this is year 1 of the Penix era, but I think this home field environment should give them enough oomph, and specifically as flat as they came out last week, losing by 30 points on the road in division to a Panthers team that, not too many people thought much of. So, this is a big pickup spot for the Falcons here. That's really what it comes down to. And, you get beat by 30 on the road. You absolutely have laser focus coming into a home game against a quarterback who once played here, against a coach who's already on the hot seat in year 2. You keep this game within a half, possession. And so I think, the Falcons are live tease dogs for me. Absolutely will probably be played this week with the Atlanta Falcons for me.
All right, Salman, you got any thoughts on? I have nothing for this game. So Washington and Atlanta Falcons.
I will say Jaden Daniels hasn't been ruled out. I would definitely put but
this guy here, this guy's going through it. I thought I had issues.
I'll say this, as he kind of goes in and out. Yeah, your Wi-Fi's kind of going in and out there. If this line doesn't say Jaden Daniels is playing right now, I'll just say that much. Mm-hmm. It's a 1.5 line. Commanders are laying 1.5. This line does not say Jaden Daniels is playing right now.
Yeah, I agree with. The line definitely does not say. First and foremost. Yeah, so I have nothing for this game. What do you got? So I think that's about it. So.
Yeah, just teasing up the Falcons here. I think they're a really good spot here to be on the pickup side after going on the road and lose by 30 in the division.
All right, Soundman's out for now. We got to keep it professional here. Media Markers, What's the Line podcast. All right, we're gonna move on. Run a pick and roll. Me and Rome, People's Champ. On the last dance. I don't know if we've addressed that here yet on the podcast, but maybe not this week, some other week. But what up? I'm not going to talk about this 15.5 with the Bills and the Saints. Saints are god awful. Bills are who they are. But I got another double-digit game here.
Mm-hmm.
Browns and the Lions, right? So traditionally, so the Lions are laying 10 points at home. Lions are 10-point favorites. Total of 44. This look ahead was also 10. Got a Dan Campbell, my guy, my bestie and a testy. 14-7 against the spread versus the AFC in his career. 26-14 against the spread after a win. 15-10 against the spread as a home favorite. You also got a Browns team, AFC North Road Dog, which I talked about earlier, Rome, with you. I think that was offline. But these AFC North road dogs used to, I'd be right there on the way, riding with them. And now these days, like I'm not so much into that.
Yeah.
For various reasons, the Browns burnt me a ton in this spot last year when I was playing every single AFC North road dog and NFC West, of course. But yeah, traditionally, like this would have been like, I'm conflicted. But I gotta lean here with Lions -10 on a short week, which is not the greatest. But what are your thoughts on this one? Double-digit favorites, Lions.
Not too much for it, but what I will say is it's interesting. Not likely do you see a dog of 7 cover, and then the following week they're catching more and they cover that line. It's pro football, so I just say tread lightly if you think the Browns are going to do what they did last week. I'm not touching this game.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that's a great point. That's a great point. You see teams like that, they get up for a game, rah rah, like get a win. Next week, it's like, oh yeah, they're back to who we thought they were. But
they're catching 9 points.
Yeah,
they're catching more points than they just had. And, yeah.
I will say though, this is. I mean, you're right, and they caught 14.5 the week before against the Ravens.
And how about this? If you want to get real super nerdy and genius with it, they just lost to the Packers. They were catching 7 against the Packers. They just lost to the Packers. And now they're going against Detroit, who the Packers beat.
Yeah.
And they're catching the 9, which is a very similar number. If you count for home field, 1/2, flip it, 9, from 7 to 9. So,
yep.
No.
And Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski, 14-19-1 against the spread as a road dog during his career, 18-27-1 against the spread after a win. So not great spots for him. But I will say Dan Campbell, head coach of the Lions, did say that this is the toughest defense that they've played so far in the Browns. And they have been holding it down defensively, which I feel like they do every year. But offensively, I think they need a little more. So we'll see what they got going there. But next game, Chargers. Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers laying 6 here on the road against the New York Giants. Total of 44. Jim Harbaugh in his career, 19-9-1 against the spread as a road favorite. He's also 33-25-2 against the spread versus the NFC. Brian Daboll, head coach of the Giants, 9-6-1 against the spread versus the AFC. Off that loss versus Kansas City. Ron, what are your thoughts on this one? I think this one should be a good one.
Yeah, I'll talk through the line again. Giants just caught 6 at home Sunday night. They're catching 6 again at home. That's the same number. I'd be more inclined to play the Giants again. I don't think they go 2 6s without covering. That's just me doing this so many times over the years. When teams catch the same number, same spot, same thing, they're at home. It's the same 6, it's the same home 6. They usually cover, one of the 2. So I would be more inclined to play Giants at 6, even with the rookie getting out there for his first start.
All right, yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. That's definitely and this is the Chargers team that's covered every game so far, right? They covered last week.
Now go east and cover by 6.
Yeah, so I agree. I tend to definitely don't want to get too involved with that. But and I be wanting to play Jim Harbaugh, right? But overall against the spread in division, how I work this with my numbers, my against the spread numbers. And in division, that's what he's played the last 3 games, division games. He's always been about 500. He's never been. I mean, he played in that tough NFC West. Now he's playing in the AFC West, but he's always been around 500 and covered 3 straight, all in division. I definitely think this is probably a spot for the Giants. Sal, man, you see you're back. What do you think about this game? Your NFC East Giants catching that same 6 at home versus the AFC West Chargers. Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. This is my forever coach here. Had to move places. Obviously, my flag is not in the background anymore, but my forever coach has definitely covered to start the entire season. Is this a trend that it must end? I don't think it ends this week with these Giants, man. The Giants are abysmal, I believe. Jackson Dart, I have nothing for him. I think he will be better than Russell Wilson at the end of the day, but it won't be this week against this Chargers defense. I don't care about them traveling across the nation to do this. I'm pretty sure they're here already. Harbaugh's going to have this team ready to go, man. Haven't seen anything good from the Giants. And we're seeing the Chargers probably be the best version of themselves that we've seen in a very long time. So I actually do like the Chargers to cover. I'm riding with my coach at that point, man. Fan stuff here, but Giants stink, man.
Yeah, and I do love Jim Harbaugh. Definitely, but that same six though, after me being wary of him in the first three games because they're all division games, and I said he's around 500, and now you're facing a non-division opponent, a little less. I'm a little less inclined to bet the Chargers here. I'll catch him later in the season. One of these weeks, I'll surely catch him. Maybe a triple unit play. Just because Jim Harbaugh's that guy. But I got to catch him in the right spot. So this week, I will stay away from that one. Rome dropped off. We'll see if he gets back. I think that's him back now, as I just heard. So he was looking sideways. Shout out to the sideways GIF, man. I still laugh at that. Just off some random. Uh, as Rome sent out a couple weeks ago. All right, this was a good one. Eagles laying 3.5 points. Eagles keep on winning, huh? But they're laying 3.5 points against. They're laying 3.5 points at the Buccaneers. Total of 44. No Mike Evans, but Chris Godwin looks like he's back full practice today. Looks like he will make his debut. But yes, these Eagles are 29-23-1 against the spread non-division games under head coach Nick Sirianni. They're also 11-13 against the spread as a road fave during that span. Rome, what do you think of this one? What's going down in Tampa?
This will probably be one of those games I end up working that'll just be coming down to the wire, and I probably will. I'm not crossing zero, so I'll probably end up teasing the Bucks up and being in one of them late fourth quarter games where the Bucks are down 7 and they're trying to either cover the regular line, cover the teaser line, and get home or whatever. And I just, I can already see myself in a weird position with them. So there's only one side I could play in this game, and that would be catching the points. I wouldn't lay it. I was on the Eagles last week. I thought they were the right side. They were, but I'm not rushing to lay 3.5 this week. I think if it gets up to 4, I think that's even more of a reason not to want to play the Bucks. Although they'll probably be the sexy tease partner. Baker can score points, so I do think he can keep it close. I'm just like I said, this is one of those games where I probably will end up working that will be the main game that I'm watching, trying to figure out what side I'm really on the right side of, because this is something you get in trouble with as you play teasers. You love to play these dogs, but the dog is on the right side. Eagles go in there, no Mike Evans, who knows where the Bucks head really is, and the Bucks kind of just lay an egg at home. That the right side might get home on all the numbers. They win by 10, you still cover the teaser. You don't cover the teaser. So this could be a 26-16, that type of game, and you got the Bucks, and you still don't get home with them. So that 3.5 is big. I saw that to say that 3.5 is very appealing to take with the Bucks. And I think if the Bucks aren't the right side, I won't be rushing to play them at the teaser card, even teasing them up.
Yeah, I still haven't found the best bet this week, but this certainly isn't it, bro.
No, it's not.
Not rushing to bet the Eagles 3.5 on the road after that big win.
Yep.
Late, it looked like they were going to lose that game, and then they block the kick, and then they go cover. And the Tampa Bay, I probably like them more as a road dog. They're a home dog under Baker Mayfield, 4-4 against the spread. Flip a coin type of thing. That's not how I ride. That's not how I get down.
Right.
So
yeah.
Nothing for me there. But Sound Man, what are your thoughts on this one? You got Tampa Bay Baker.
I'm kind of feeling, the same emotions. Yeah. That's my guy. He's very resilient. No, I mean, I'm feeling the same way though. Just not right now. Not right now.
Yeah.
I feel like it could go either way. I literally talked about it last week with the Eagles. They just find a way. And I'm, as an NFC East guy, I hate that they just find a way. And here we are, lo and behold, last week. We think the game is over, as you just said. We block, we cover. Like, we just found a way to do it last week. And granted, these Bucks find a way as well. So it's two teams that are just finding a way right now. They're both playing really good football. Rome's
which makes me scary about the dog.
At home. I'm unfortunately in a chat with a lot of Eagles fans that actually hate this game. They hate that they always have to go down and play Tampa in the heat in the late, September, early fall area. So they're not worried about this game either. They're pretty scared of this. I don't have anything for it right now. Rome's favorite receiver just hurt his hamstring for the 7th year in a row. Won't be out there. So we're down a guy, but
had a couple drops on Sunday. I didn't say anything about it though.
No need. Chris Godwin practiced today. Mecca's emerging, so one guy goes out, next guy got to step up. So I mean, this is popcorn game for sure. I have nothing for the side right now. I'd like it if it was 2.5, but
Wouldn't
three
wish
and
it
a
on
half.
anybody, but just once feels like one of those bad Baker games, Logan. Wouldn't wish it on him, but
I
I
mean,
just
he has them.
don't know, man. I
He
don't
has
know.
them.
I don't like
Yeah,
this game because it's so appealing to just be like, yeah, I'll just tease up the Bucks, you know.
yeah.
And the
We
Bucks,
haven't seen it in a while, but
yeah,
we know
yeah, and
Baker.
that's what I'm saying. I'm
Everybody
not
has back.
wishing it on them. I don't wish it on them, but we
Mhm.
know it's in there, and that's what kind of whatever.
Eagles backers are like, shit. I wish it on them.
Because if you
Mhm.
really look at the Eagles, they've been playing sleepy, but they haven't necessarily been playing bad. They just taking forever to wake up and play good. So that's more.
That's
I'm
how you
fine with
look
that.
at it.
Yeah, I mean, if someone who felt like they were the right side the entire time last Sunday, yeah. I mean, because they did wake up when they were supposed to wake up. If they don't
In
go on
that,
that
yeah.
drive and they don't throw the two and get the two with Devontae, all that, if none of that happens, they actually didn't get the two. But if none of that happens, they're not even in position. So they woke up. Saquon kind of woke up and gave him a little boost. He didn't necessarily get that big run. They kept talking about the big runs he got on the Rams in previous games. That didn't come, but they won the football game and they covered. So they, exceeded expectations. And now you're telling them to go on the road and do the same thing. I think they're very much so capable of. I think they're kind of focused. But the Bucks, I don't know why. I still don't trust Todd Bowles.
All right, I'm going to go on a little mini rant here because you know, I'm a guy. I'm just a guy, all right? I'm just a guy. But I'm a guy who also went to school in Philly, right? Temple University, TU. Shout out to the Owls. But the purest football fan in me loves what the Eagles do. And I don't think that they like turn it on, turn it off. I just think they've mastered they've mastered sort of the nuances of the game, right? The other day, Monday Night Football, David Montgomery, right? He breaks off of that late touchdown. I needed him to go down desperately. I needed him to go down. But he scored the touchdown. He went up 2 touchdowns. Cool. Nothing happened, nothing bad, right? But if Baltimore catches that onside kick and they go down and tie the game up, then they're going to overtime. So, like, the Eagles would never do that. The Eagles, if Saquon gets that, he breaks it, and it's time to go, and they
He's
only
going to
got two
fall.
timeouts, he's going to fall. He's going to do the right football play, and the Eagles make the right football plays. Sometimes it's boring. Listen, I understand. If you're out there, I got AJ Brown on my football team. I understand. But last week he did his thing because like they did have a challenge last week. And you'll see them get up for those challenges because that's what they do. They're masters of the moment. And I really appreciate how they play football from a purist standpoint. You're trying to win games. It's all about just trying to win. And a lot of people want to make it look flashy, or a lot of people like to throw the ball and stuff like that. But they're just masters of the moment from my perspective. And I gotta
Hey,
appreciate that.
hey, Brian Kelly, 2 weeks ago after they beat Florida, he in the press conference saying, "What do you want us to beat Florida by 70? We won the game." And that's really the Eagles. You know what I'm saying?
You're just trying to win, and they do whatever needs. Look, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Tush push. You know what it is. Until they ban it, we're going to do it. We're going to execute it well. And I don't. They just do the right thing from a football purist standpoint. I'm a guy who grew up during the Bill Belichick era, and just do your job and execute, and don't stick the ball out, like, you know what I mean. Like, so those little things, I don't know. It just, it works for me. I know Soundman is up in a fury though. He does not like the way these Eagles play.
It's fine. We know how to stop the tush push, so fuck it.
Oh, listen, we saw the Chiefs do it, right? They stopped it a
Yeah.
couple of times. I was like, oh, maybe that was against Josh Allen. That wasn't against the Eagles. All right, I think that's it for this game. But that was a good talk. I'm gonna clip that that Eagles Bucks up for sure. Titans Texans. Listen, man, I told y'all how bad this Titans head coach is. He might get a cover here, though. I mean, the Texans laying 7. Titans, Brian Callahan 1-6 against the spread in division games. He's 2-13 against the spread after a loss. But this Texans team has not been good. Sal, man, what do you think about this game and the spread?
I just don't. I mean, 7 for these Texans that haven't been playing that well. They're at home. I feel like the Texans are they still haven't won these Texans? Is this
They're
two
0
0
and
and
3.
3 teams right here, right now?
Hmm.
I mean, you look up, you would say the Texans have the more talent at home. Also, division game here, 7 points. I don't have too much. I haven't seen anything good from either teams. So this is another one on my list of hey, I got nothing for it this week. Props, Nico Collins is talking to Legarius Sneed and vice versa. That's where I'll be. But as far as the side, I have nothing for this -7 for these two bad teams. But both of them, get it together, man. Y'all got too much talent on these teams. Maybe it is just coaching. It sucks, Just maybe get it together. I got nothing for it.
That's why I was talking about the look. Coaching matters. Like, do the right thing. But anyway, yeah, for me, I think there's probably too many points in division for a team that just trying to look to get a win, and they haven't been executing well. They're just trying to execute well and get a fucking win. So you land 7 points. It's just a little too much to me. As much as the Titans have been bad, but I saw it start to be publicized last week as well. Oh, these are the Titans. Last 17 games, haha. But I was on that previously. I understood, but this is 7 points is a lie against. But I mean, this is a bad Titans team. But Rome, you got anything for this one?
I'm not betting this game.
I was about to say it doesn't look like it. All right, let's keep it moving. A few more games left. Jaguars 49ers. I don't have much for that one. I don't know if you do,
It's at
Rome.
3.5.
It's at 3.
3. I don't. Hey man, the way I'm really, and we can kind of use this to segue into college football if you want, but I'm very choosy and picky about what I'm touching in pro football this year. And the easiest way for me to figure out what to bet is by eliminating the games I'm not betting. And that goes for double-digit spreads, injured quarterbacks, and cluster injury teams. The 49ers are all of those things. So I don't want any part of that game unless I'm betting against those teams. And I don't, I don't really care to have money on Sunshine right now. But that is an interesting number at 3. I could see myself having action on that. How about this? I'd rather play that. I'd rather play Jacksonville as a it's in San Francisco, am I right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd rather have Jacksonville on the road in San Francisco with a rookie head coach than I probably would Tampa at home as home dogs. So that's just kind of where I'm at with that one. So because of that line, the line is 3, it's short. As I mentioned, rookie head coach kind of speaks to, the injuries on the 49ers side. And when you talk about those injuries, how many more of these games are they going to be able to win with so many guys out? I'd be interested to see, and I wouldn't likely be wanting to bet on them while they're, going through this. So I can see myself having action on that in the 4 p.m. window. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I got nothing for that one. Not, at least not yet. But yeah, Salman, you got anything for 49ers Jaguars?
For some reason, just hearing
You
my
can
good
see
friend
it.
Rome.
You can see it now.
For hearing my good friend Rome speak, my interest is peaked, man. What we said 7 years of Annie up here, man. At one point the dogs was my thing, man. I can see the Jags going in there. How many times have we looked up and you have it right here? Shoot, where to go? 24, 28, and 1 is a home fave. I'm guessing this is under Kyle Shanahan's regime that you got this
Yes,
for.
for
How many
sure.
times have we looked up and we're like, these Niners don't have this home field event, this brand new Levi Stadium here. They're not winning these games at home. These Jags probably need this a lot more. A lot more. I mean, everybody needs to win, right? But as Rome said, cluster injuries. Their whole entire team is decimated. Like every week, it's somebody else, and it's been like this for a very long time.
And they've snuck away each week this year. I had the Saints
Each
2 weeks
week,
ago.
I
The
don't know
Saints were
how
in
they've
that
done
ball
it.
game until 2 minutes in the game.
I have
Hey,
no
talk
idea.
about that for sure. I totally agree, Ron. I thought the Saints were going to cover that one.
I have
I
no
mean, yeah.
idea how they've been doing it. And I've been, again, I said it earlier. I mixed up the NFC West teams here. I used to be a big proponent of this whole division. I used to be a proponent of the Niners. I'm sick and tired of them. So this might be a hate play as well as just a knowledgeable play right here. Because I mean, damn, just go in there and get a win, man. The Jags look terrible though as well. So let's throw that out there as well. But they got a lot of young pieces. They got more healthy pieces than the Niners do of their
Absolutely.
core team. Let's say that. So Josh
Absolutely.
Hines Allen get some goddamn sacks on Mac Jones. Mac Jones has looked great. Let's maybe calm this down. You know what I mean?
Warning.
Yeah,
Warning.
like why? Why are you looking this good? Maybe it's the
Oh
system.
my
Maybe who knows?
goodness. It is. He
I
looked
don't,
good.
look out. I might jump back in the Discord to drop this dog. I got to see how I feel on Sunday, but right now, I mean, I'm leaning Jags here
They're
personally.
gonna be, probably one of those teams that I would rather, like I said, play than the Bucks. And so, on these cards that I've had in the last 2 weeks, both winning cards, I've had a 4 p.m. game, if not two. And I've noticed that I'm actually better when I do that, as opposed to trying to handicap one of, or, four of the 6 or 8 1 p.m. games. It's only 4 or 5 of those, if 5 ever, only about 3 or 4 of those 4 p.m. games. And, I noticed the board just becomes a lot more sharper after some of those 1 p.m. games close, and you see what those lines were and where they landed. So, absolutely like the Jags on one of my cards. And when I say one of my cards, my only card that I'll probably play in pro football this weekend.
Yeah, and Salman mentioned it. The
Teaser
49ers
card.
teaser card. Salman mentioned it. 49ers 24-28-1 against the spread as a home fave under head coach Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, I gotta agree with you guys. Though it's a classic. This line stinks.
Yeah.
Laying 3 at home. This is a team that didn't look great last week against the Cardinals. I mean, I know they go in there, they win, but they didn't cover. They won by 1 point. The line was 1.5, and yeah, this line certainly stinks. So yeah, I think we'll probably find some reason to be on it for sure. So I'll look out for that room with you on that one. But I think I got a best bet now.
Let's go.
It is the team that I just went against. I can't see myself going against them twice in a row. But besides that, it's the Baltimore Ravens. They're laying 2.5 points at the Kansas City Chiefs, total of 48.5. So this will be my best bet here, Wednesday, September 24th for the Sunday slate. But yeah, the Ravens here, it's a Chiefs team that I talked about it recently. They haven't looked too explosive. They have not looked explosive. Last week we saw them kind of come out of the shell against that Giants defense. A Giants defense that gave up about 400 yards to Dak Prescott and the boys the week before. So this Giants defense can be had, but I will say I just feel like this Chiefs team, they get a win last week, right? They do it mostly in the second half. The first half was pretty even between the two teams, and it's a team that was 0-2. They desperately needed the win, and now here they can get back to 2-2, and it's obviously good feels, but I feel like this is the line for a reason. The 2.5. This is a Mahomes who, I mean, since the Kansas City Chiefs, since Mahomes has become the starter,
Get
one
those
and four.
dog numbers out.
Yes, since Mahomes has become the starter, the Chiefs are 1-4 against the spread as a home dog. So they're just 25% against the spread in this spot. It's probably for a reason. Obviously, they don't get many of these spots, home dogs. But I mean, it's a Ravens team that's always been played very well on the road. We know that. I feel like they always go on the road and kind of show out. Last week they were at home. Obviously they didn't come through, but coming off a loss, they're 1-2 right now. They can't slip to 1-3 either. So both of these teams are looking to avoid 1-3. But this is a Ravens team that I got here. Lamar Jackson, getting sacked 7 times. I think they'll rebound from that offensively, but defensively, you're going against a Lions juggernaut. I mean, the Lions are tough, and the Chiefs, I don't think have that. They can't run the ball. Kareem Hunt and Pacheco not getting it done. And obviously, Mahomes is an underdog. It's always going to be around. It's 13-6-1 in those instances, but 5 of those were at home as an underdog. Only 25% against the spread there. So I like this. I like this Ravens team. They're also 22-15-1 against the spread as a roll fade since Lamar Jackson became the starter in 2019. And yeah, the Ravens team, I think they're going to go in the Chiefs and avoid the 1-3 start. I think they're going to get to 2-2. So one of these teams are going to fall to 1-3. I think we need to obviously talk about that. But Sal, man, you got any thoughts on this one?
I'm probably with you on this here. And it's probably all Ravens here. I mean, we know what the Chiefs are. They're, dynasty here. They've got their chips. They're not talented right now. Personally, they're old, and their guys are out. receivers. That is, maybe Xavier Worthy plays. Who knows? But as you said, they can't run, so they're a one-dimensional team here. And the Ravens, one thing they just can't do or haven't been able to do is stop the pass, in a very long time. So there's nothing to do here. They don't have anybody to pass to. I don't know who they're going to pass to. I don't know how you're going to beat this team. You're going to make you one dimensional. Let's hone in on what we can do, which is stop the pass. That's all you got to do kind of here. For me as well, the Ravens, I don't think, as you said, neither team should want to go 1-3. If I'm the Ravens, I can't lose to the Bills. I can't lose to the Lions, and I can't lose to the Chiefs. Like one of the, these are all top 5 teams here. You would say coming into the season, probably throw the Eagles in there as well. You were in that top 5 category as well, probably coming into the season. You can't lose these 3 teams in 4 weeks. So I think they'll be here motivated. My guy, former Alabama Heisman winner, Derrick Henry, 3 fumbles in 3 games. You got to come out here and kind of attack this team, man. You got everybody's got something to play for. One thing you did mention as well, the 7 sacks. I don't know how you change that in 6 days. So that's something I ain't worried about, especially with Chris Jones. One thing I guess the Chiefs are good at is, their defensive line, maybe the defense in general. So I don't know how you're going to change that or fix that in 7 days or 6 days. But I still like the Ravens ultimately coming here and kind of right the ships of, a couple bad L's to start off the season personally. So I like the 2.5 as well.
I like that you said that though. Yeah, you don't want to go 0-3 against those 3 teams: the Bills, Lions, and the Chiefs. They're going to be like, "Oh, you just beat Cleveland, nice, okay." Well, but Ron, what do you think about this game? Any thoughts on this one before we start to talk college football?
Yeah, I'm not betting this game.
It's not betting this game. We got 2 Monday night games, so no need to talk about that. Packers, Cowboys, Sound man, you got anything for this one? Packers laying 6.5 on the road. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur, 19-13 against the spread after a loss.
Keep it brief. One of those, I was fading them last week, and now I'm on them this week. I think, I said my whole spiel last week. No need to repeat it about the Packers, but I don't think I talked about the Cowboys. They're just not good. And I think, this is a good bounce back game. You just went against, as we just said, one of probably a top 3 defense in the Browns in the league. And now you're going against this, I think, last ranked defense in the league here in the Cowboys. So I like them to go out here and kind of get a bounce back win personally. I'll take the 6. I mean, we've seen Jordan Love go to Arlington, Texas and light them up before. So I think this is a good little. I've been here before. Let me get my feet back acclimated. Let's get back on track, offense and defense, especially against this Cowboys team is struggling tremendously. CD Lamb's out. I mean, they're banged up too. Guys are just banged up. So there's another team you're playing banged up. Packers aren't. I personally like the Packers here. Minus 6.5. Get a little rebound win.
All right. Yeah, for me, this is a Cowboys team that I just want to take advantage of defensively, right? They're opposing running backs and opposing tight ends have been catching the ball, a lot of receptions, a lot of yards. We saw last week I had the Colston Loveland over, I think, 18.5. He had the 31 early before he got hurt. We saw Cole Kmet score a touchdown on his team. We saw Saquon went crazy week 1 against his team. I took DeAndre Swift to get 3 receptions last week. He got that and 40-plus yards. So this is a team I want to attack defensively. The Cowboys, it's not what they're good at. So I'm looking for Josh Jacobs' reception numbers. Can't find it right now. I think I see the receiving yards, though. So I can kind of talk about that really quick. But receptions is kind of what I'm going to look at. As those are kind of easy to bring in. But Josh Jacobs right now is receiving yards. I'm seeing about 24.5. So I don't know if I want to get that deep, but I'm going to be looking at the receptions, Tucker Craft as well, and trying to take advantage of this Cowboys defense. I think, Roman, did you go in this one or not?
No, I'm not betting this game either.
Let's talk some college football. What you got for me, Roman? What games you want to talk?
So the first game I want to talk is Auburn at Texas A&M this weekend. Down there in Houston. So, Auburn last week, they go on the road to Norman. They lose on a nasty bad beat cover, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I was on Auburn, gave them out, whatever. All right. And so this week, they go down to Houston against A&M. They're catching a very similar 6.5. They caught 6.5 last week, actually got up to 7.5, came back close, 6.5, 6. So depending on where you got it, you could have been on the right side on Auburn. Auburn was the right side in that game. SEC came back last weekend saying that, some of the things that Oklahoma did specific to their play calling was unsportsmanlike conduct, specific to running a player off the field and hiding him off the side of the field and running him deep and throwing him a go ball as if he was never on the field. That's illegal in college football. So that was 6, and then another very questionable scoop and score drop fumble that happened for Auburn's favor that was called back in the first quarter. Very, very funny game. And Auburn was still in that game with 2 minutes left to go. And, eventually do not cover. That's all that to say. They're catching the same 6.5 this week on the road in, Houston down there at Texas A&M. So 100,000 strong at Kyle Stadium. Auburn's 3-1. Texas A&M is 3-0. Texas A&M, remember they caught the 6.5 on the road, the same 6.5 on the road earlier, 2 weeks ago against Notre Dame. They go up there, they went outright on the last second touchdown. Look for Auburn to have similar juice this week. Again, playing a team on the road after last week. They're already battle tested. They've already played two actually important road games in their early young season, that being on the road at Baylor and on the road last weekend in Norman. So they're battle tested, specific to playing in these environments. A&M and these SEC West teams, they haven't necessarily started to beat up on each other yet, but it's starting to come, and it will start, I believe, this week down there in Houston in the game that Auburn absolutely needs. I think Hugh Freeze kind of learns from some of the mistakes. Didn't run the ball much in Norman last weekend. I think they kind of get back to that this week. Had a couple of big gains on the ground when they did run the ball, and they kind of wanted to flutter and throw the ball around the yard. So, I think they kind of just learned from their mistakes last week on the road and then come back this week on the road, get an unexpected win possibly here outright at 6.5 dogs down there in Houston. So looking to play Auburn this week. I'm not all the way there yet. This is not me giving it out. This is me just talking through it, and I might end up there on Auburn. Another game I want to talk through, Notre Dame laying 4.5. It's down to 4 now at some places where it matters. They're going to Arkansas this weekend, so they'll be down in Fayetteville. It's been an interesting game for the Razorbacks and Notre Dame, specifically because it's a weird SEC kind of, mid-tier or lower-tier SEC team against the Notre Dame team that really hasn't proven themselves at all, in any capacity, whether that be at home or on the road. I think they had Purdue late in the game. They kind of came back. I'm not sure if they actually pulled away or not, but Notre Dame, they just seem to not be able to get together as far. They're 0-2, I want to say, or 1, they just won. So whether they make 1-2 or something like that. So, this will be an interesting game. Now, line down to 4. It's in that really, weird, funky no man's land 4, but it's coming down to where these key numbers are starting to matter. Like I said, it was 4.5 earlier this week. It's down to 4 now where it matters. And if it gets down to 3.5 or even touches 4 everywhere, I think Arkansas money will start to pour in. So, this might be a big teaser weekend for me, specifically in college football, especially after what happened to me last weekend with Auburn. 60% of teams games get home in college football last weekend. That would have absolutely happened. I would have got home clean sweep and end up in the weekend 1-2. This isn't about me. This is about the fucking number that I should probably have had. And so I want to make sure that I get that this week. So look for some teaser action for me in college football this week. And then one more game that, should be interesting to see. Illinois, they got the brakes beat off of them this past weekend at Indiana. They're catching 6.5 this week. Never mind the team. Who really cares? All I know is they're catching 6.5. And I think this is a good spot for Illinois to kind of bounce back. I think a lot of people are going to see that they lost by, 51, 60-something points last weekend. And they're catching 6.5 points in a game where, are they going to lay down again type of thing. USC is who they're playing, I believe. I think USC is coming to Illinois and laying 6.5. USC is 21st, I believe, ranked team in college football. And Illinois, I believe they slid down to 23rd or something. So I'm not sure if those are specific rankings, but I do know that that's probably the line that Illinois is catching this weekend. So look out for them to be live dogs. And then one last game tomorrow, Friday night, Texas Christian University, TCU, on the road at Arizona State. And this Arizona State franchise or organization or program that has kind of come back alive under a very 33-year-old young and lively coach that they have down there. They kind of snuck out with a game against Baylor this past weekend on the road. And so they were pretty banged up coming out of that game. But they have to turn right back around here and host a TCU team and a Josh Hoover quarterback who is, very quietly probably one of the better quarterbacks in college football, that being the quarterback for TCU. So, I would like to probably tease TCU tomorrow, just out there in the desert, seeing that they'll be out there in Phoenix, and it'll probably be a lively Friday night environment. But like I said, I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to TCU, and Arizona's on a short week after a big big game against Baylor. So those are the college football games I'm looking to play this weekend. We also, you obviously have Penn State and Oregon late at night. That'll be an interesting game. Line is 4. So it's a lot of teaser, options that I see on the board specific for this weekend, because I think a lot of these games are kind of starting and going to get close and going to matter soon. So, Oregon coming east. So we'll see how that kind of pans out for them. Franklin can't ever win the big games. So, we'll see what happens there. I think that's about it for me in college football. Maryland's starting to matter again. So, keep an eye out for them to have some short lines and some playable games. They're 3-0. They just win the Wisconsin. They beat them by the football number. They'll catch a 10 on the road. They go in and win outright. We're not surprised to see that when that line wins outright. But, so look out for Maryland, for us to probably have some action on them in the next couple of weeks. Probably not this week, but that's college football from this week.
All right, Rome gave a lot there for college football. I think I'm going to give a handicap on one of those games because, I like to give a college football handicap. But Sal, man, I heard Penn State. I know you're a Big Ten guy, and they're playing at Oregon. That's supposed to be a big game. What do you got? Any thoughts on that one? Any probable handicaps as well?
Not yet. I definitely will be there. Just for, typically me and just some totals with these kids. So I'll definitely be there for some Big Ten action. I'll be with the Iowa-Indiana game for some more Big Ten action. Then I'm gonna just probably play the big dogs as well. LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Georgia as well. That's the only games I have. Just totals, buddy. Just totals, brother. That's probably where my eyes will be just for college this week. Michigan's off this week, as we all know. I just played the totals for us, 3-1 on the season. I want to throw that out there. But other than that, I got nothing for college besides those games.
It's going to be a big, great week of college football. It's probably one of the better weekends I've seen in some years. I mean, we could be, all action just all across the board this week. And these lines are really good. Lots of lines of 7 or less. Good games. I didn't mention Bama because I don't like working them. I like working them. And then LSU Ole Miss, that's a good teaser game, figuring out who I can be on the right side of there. So a lot of SEC ball, a lot of Big Ten ball, football games that are starting to matter on Saturdays.
I like Bama this week, man. I usually don't. I like Bama this week. Just throwing it out there.
Oh,
yeah, this guy likes Bama.
Said roll.
Real low.
Quiet ass roll. Say it out loud. Damn, but
roll. All right, man. I got a handicap though, or not really a handicap, but just my thoughts on this Notre Dame game. They're laying 4.5. You said at Arkansas, maybe a lower tier SEC team. I gotta lean with the Notre Dame here. I mean, one thing that I have heard is they obviously have not played up to expectations coming into the season, coming off the championship run where they lost in the championship, correct?
Correct.
So I mean, now I see that they're ranked 22nd overall. Obviously, if you lose this game to Arkansas, you'll probably be out that top 25. You got incentive there, but you also just got incentive to get back on track and win these games. But their coach, what's the name of their coach?
Marcus Freeman,
black man, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Black man. He is all time 38-18-2 against the spread, 67.9%. This guy is Marcus Freeman. That's his name, right? Marcus Freeman?
Yes, sir.
All right, Marcus Freeman. I got it. Just double checking. But he's also 7-4-2 against the spread as a road favorite. I think you got the incentive here to not want to drop out of that top 25. You need to win. Obviously, you can win by 1 to 3 points, but you need style points as well, to try to get back in that college football, to be right there. And this is kind of where you're going to run. You don't have the best SEC team. You have a lower tier team. The spread open, it was look ahead was 6 now it's 4.5. I think there's some value there on people kind of getting off Notre Dame, but this is a guy in Marcus Freeman who covers spreads. So just being the guy that I am and how I sports bet, I'll definitely ride with Notre Dame.
Love your conviction in that. I really do. We'll be looking on that. Cash will be on that. We'll be very, very active this Saturday. So let's win.
There we go. So that is it. What's the Line podcast? We talked some NFL, obviously. We talked some college football as well. I gave out a handicap. I mean, that's pretty rare in college football. But my time's coming. I'll be around. But shout out to you guys pulling up 3-man weave. Worked everything out. I'll be around later. If anybody watching right now, I got to watch the challenge and Big Brother and do a lot of other stuff as well. So I'll be around to talk that later tonight. And here at Media Marcus, What's the Line podcast presented by Annie Up Consulting. See you guys soon. Rome, you want to stay on for a minute? I just want to chat with you after I end the stream.
Okay.